again, everyone. Welcome back to the Daily Gold Podcast. I'm here with my buddy Jeb Handwerger of Gold Stock Trades, and today we're speaking with one of my favorite people in this industry, Jeff Pontius. He's the founder and CEO of Corvus Gold. Hey, Jeff, as we get started today, can you comment on the news release today concerning your Terra project in Alaska? Uh, can you tell us how this project is progressing and what we can expect in 2012?
Yeah, it's a great news release we had come out today. Our partner was very successful extending the current vein system that we have a small resource on now, another 200 meters to the north. So that's about a 40% increase in the overall strike length of that vein system. So that's very meaningful for us because the current resource sits at about 170,000 ounces at half ounce per ton gold. And this could add a significant increase to the overall mineable piece that we're looking at taking forward. And this is very important for them as they go forward and we start small-scale, pilot-scale production next year, probably initiating in June and being able to continue on into September. And that'll be a very important time. We'll be producing gold, producing cash flow for Corvus, and really working out the bugs of how we're going to actually mine this deposit on a much larger scale.
Hey, Jeff, this is Jeb. Jordan and I toured your North Bullfrog project in Nevada, and I'm really excited about the project, and I know that you have a PEA that you guys are working on that you plan to publish in February of 2012. And you guys have already shown a great resource increase there. And based on what I saw there, it seems that there's the potential of the scope of this project is quite large. Can you tell me how you view this project and what you see going on with North Bullfrog in 2012?
Yeah, I think the project is certainly one that fits in the category that we've been looking for, something that has potential to exceed 3 million ounces of resource. And we're kicking off at the beginning of February a follow-up Phase 2 drill program that will be a very aggressive program and continue on through 2012 to follow up not only expanding the big oxide resource that we have there now, but also chasing the high-grade feeder zones that we have there in the deposit. And what we're seeing as we progress through the scoping study or the PEA that we're doing right now is this project looks like it's going to definitely provide a meaningful value to the company that's very significant to us, and that we're going to be able to really put it in the context of what this very large low-grade gold resource is that sits at surface and how it would potentially be developed. It certainly looks like it could be a low capex, low unit cost type operation, and that's going to be very exciting for us in the future.
Can you just tell us about the significance of the PEA and when you were running Tower Hill, when you first published that PEA, what sort of impact did that have on a company, on an exploration company?
Well, it was very important because what it did was really communicate to the market in a third-party independent review of the asset just what the value of that asset could be to this company. And it really painted a picture of an exploration company that has an asset that can go to production. And it put some real good, solid values on what that asset could be worth as where it sits today. And when we look at exploration and the value that exploration adds to growth of assets, I think it gives a very clear picture to the investor of, gee, what can I expect from this? And certainly with Tower Hill, when we first put out the PEA of Live and Good, it had a very positive effect in the marketplace, and more importantly, it brought a lot of attention to the company from the major banks and the major analyst groups that go out and cover companies that have development assets. So I think we'll see sort of the same pattern come with Corvus as we saw with ITH.
Okay, Jeff, let's talk about some of your other projects. Last month, Corvus reported some drilling results at its Chisna project in Alaska. Last summer, I was fortunate enough to be able to see that project, some really spectacular scenery there. Can you tell us about these recent results and what your plan is going forward?
Yeah, the results are from a very large new discovery of a big gold system, and that gold system is over 12 kilometers long now, about 3 kilometers wide, covers an area that's literally 30 square kilometers of a number of high-grade vein systems that are outcropping at surface. These are gold and silver systems, and it's very important that you actually intercept these things in the third dimension. And what we reported a few weeks ago were some drill intersections into one of those targets that returned roughly about 5 to 6 meter thick intervals of about 4 to 5 gram material, and that is very significant from the scale of the big alteration systems and surface exposures we've seen on surface. And so that paints a picture of a new district, a new gold district having been discovered in Alaska with a lot of potential targets within it. And we have more information on the Chisna project, and as we get that information in, we'll be releasing that over the coming weeks here. And it's a very exciting zone. I mean, it's really interesting to discover a new gold district, and that's certainly what it looks like we've done in Alaska. So this is in addition to a number of copper-gold porphyry systems that we found earlier in the exploration on this project that certainly need some follow-up work as well. So Chisna is emerging as a major exploration play for Corvus in the future, and we're lucky enough to have a partner that's paying all the bills for the first $20 million investment into the project.
Jeff, we learned that Corvus regained 100% ownership of its LMS and West Pogo projects. Are you going to look for a new partner, or are you going to drill it and explore it yourselves? Can you update us on that?
Sure, and that was unfortunate that our partner wasn't able to complete its earn-in on that project, but it was because of the way the deal was structured. Corvus has the benefit of over $3 million of exploration work that they put into the project, and we got the project back on a 100% basis, unencumbered by any other interest in the project. So good for us, and what we'll do right now is we're looking at all the information generated by our partner on that project to evaluate the risk and reward for our shareholders on that project. We certainly have a lot of interest from the market side, from the producer side, gold producer side, on new exploration gold discoveries in Alaska. And so I think that we would have an opportunity to bring a partner in if we want to on this project. And so we'll look seriously at that and make that decision over the next couple months so that we can make sure we field a very aggressive program there next year. I think on the WP project, or West Pogo project, we see a very interesting target there. We're literally 5 kilometers from the Pogo mill, which is operated by Sumitomo, and we think that that's a pretty easy, low-risk target for us. The mine road goes right through the property, and we're looking seriously at putting the initial discovery holes in this zone of mineralization. If we're successful at finding a high-grade vein system, which the surface indications would suggest we have a reasonable shot for, then it would put us in an extremely good position to certainly talk to other groups about taking this project forward to production.
Jeff, can we get your comments on the gold market in general, and maybe where you see Corvus fitting into that, and why investors should take a look at Corvus right now?
Well, I think we're seeing sort of a retread of what we saw in '08, where we saw basically bullion prices being relatively flat over the last, say, 3 months, and that we're seeing that the equities have been discounted to a very high degree. Now, the producers have taken less discount than the developers or the exploration groups, And so we're seeing sort of an oversold basis, I think, on the equity side. And what I look at as not only a manager of a mining of an exploration and development company, but as an investor myself, is I look at where am I going to get the best leverage. And I think right now that we're seeing equities sold down to a much higher degree than we're ever going to expect to see gold sold down. And that over the next 6 to 12 months, the return really sits down there with the equities, and particularly the equities, and I like to look at equities, that are, first of all, well managed, first of all, financially very solid. They don't need to go out and raise money, and equities that have high quality assets are going to deliver good news over the next 12 months. And I think when we look at those, we could see a rebound that we saw in early '09 in equities, where they've come back on a very high degree and outran gold to a much higher degree than gold ran up over that period of time. So, when I look at the market, I see gold as a continually rising commodity. But more importantly, if you're going to get a good return on your investment, I think equities are really where you're going to maximize that return. And you got to look for those equities that provide you with the most leverage you can get.
Okay, well, on that note, Jeff, thanks so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it and all the great insight and the updates on Corvus. I'm sure our listeners will really appreciate it also. Thanks so much for joining us today.
All right, thanks, guys, and have a happy holiday.